So now we're going to take a look at liberal arts, who just is been sort of lying in the weeds a little bit, but has now made his way to the forefront by winning the Street Sense. So we'll take a look at him and you see, but he's by Arrogate, and the fact that Arrogate passed away, these horses become more and more valuable, and we've seen Arrogates just do phenomenally well, particularly as they stretch out. So Arrogate being the sire, really big plus for this one. The Ismini tribal rule, more speed, sprint oriented. That's kind of the real knock on this one. It doesn't mean that this one can't get a mile and a quarter. It just means that it's not quite as likely as perhaps if you had a little more stamina underneath. I've seen horses with pedigrees like this get the distance, but it is a little bit of a red flag right now. Robert Medina is a trainer who's had a pretty good year. He's this is sort of his big horse, I would say, but he seems to be doing well with this one so far. We'll take a look at the progression in a second. And you do get Christian Torres as the jockey, and he's definitely an up-and-comer, made his mark at Oaklawn, and he's done very well. So pretty good connections. We'll look at the pedigree, and you see by Arrogate, Unbridled Song, Unbridled, that's 2 turns all day long. But it's just Tribal Rule is more of a sprinter, and California sire. So that's really the only knock. You can see though, pedigree-wise on the dosage profile, he does have a lot of speed influences and a little bit of intermediate, and obviously a 15 dosage index isn't very good. However, as we've noted, the fact they don't update the chefs to race, it's probably not as accurate as it ought to be. You see down in the Conduit Mare profile, much more of a attuned to stamina than speed, which is a good thing. But you do have a sprinter on top as a sire, so it is a little bit of it's a little bit of a red flag. But we'll just have to see how he goes along. And then we look at the running lines, and we'll see. Here's the thing that I really love to see, particularly out of a 2-year-old. Now, first of all, he's raced 5 times, which I like. But also, look at the progression. Look at his class rating. 111, 114, 116, 116, 118. This is a horse who's getting better. In particular, look at the race ratings. 110, 111, 110, 115, 115. Now, as the race ratings are getting better, the class of race is better, his class of race is going up. That is exactly the progression. You've heard me say it a million times. That's exactly what you want to see. And you can see his speed figures correspondingly are going up as well. So this one is definitely progressing in the right way. And what you really like to see is as the distances are getting longer, he's getting better. So there's a lot to like about liberal arts. They list him here as a late runner, and he has been running late, but I have a feeling he'll be a little closer to the pace as we progress. But liberal arts, one to keep your eye on. Pretty interesting. I'd like to see him step up, see how he does when he gets into a little deeper waters. But so far, I think there's a lot of things to like. He's definitely moving in the right direction. So let's take a look at the Street Sense and see how he did with this one. If I can get it to play.
They're in the gates.
Now, the knock is, of course, it was only a 5-horse field. But it's the distance more than anything else. And one thing about these 2-turn races, when you have small fields like this, it does often become a match race. So it's almost a throwout in some respects, particularly if you're on the front end, because you're either going to be gone uncontested or it's going to be a duel all the way around the track. So it's a little hard to get a feel for it.
Builds a 2-length advantage as they turn to the back stretch run.
You see Liberal Arts hanging out in the back. Northern Flame's a pretty good horse. Informed Patriot's not bad either. So this was a halfway decent field. I wouldn't call it a top, one of the top stake 2-year-old stakes race fields, but pretty good. Grade 3.
Moonlight is hustled along in 4th, and Liberal Arts is at the back in 5th. There's 4 furlongs remaining. Gettysburg Address.
Now, see, this is more of a, it looks like a closing run, but the fact that the field's smaller, he's more like a mid-pack type of horse, and I think that's where Liberal Arts will end up. You see, now he's getting going in the back there. You can see it. Apologize for the quality. Could be a little better.
Is still the leader. Informed Patriot has come off the rails, second, and targeting him off the
save some ground.
Liberal Arts is coming on with a rally in behind as well, and Moonlight down the center, racing for the 8th pole. Informed Patriot powers up and grabs the lead, but here comes Liberal Arts, who's cut loose in a big way. Liberal Arts rocketing past Informed Patriot and Moonlight.
Really nice kick, drifting out a little bit, so you can see maybe it's still a little bit green, but still showed some good kick there, and you gotta love to see that.
Informed Patriot was 3rd. Gettysburg Address was 4th. There.
So if we take a look at Liberal Arts grade-wise, pedigree, I'm giving him a C, and that's only because of the questions you have on the bottom end with the dam, tribal rule being the sire. Arrogate's a first-rate sire, so maybe that'll get pedigree. Right now it's a C, but I probably ought to move it up a little bit to like C+, B-, something like that. Class-wise C+, because he's only been running in grade 3s. I haven't seen him against the very best at the grade 1 or 2 level yet, but he is progressing in a very nice way. A- because I'd like to see the speed figures a little higher, but you see as the distances are getting longer, the class is going up, he's running better. So he's in that perfect spot for exactly what you want to see for a 2-year-old going into his 3-year-old year. So for prospect rating, I'm going to give him a B-, and only because I'd like to see how he does against the very best. But right now, I think this one offers a lot of value under the radar and is a pretty interesting Derby prospect.